And I said, so I'm a goner, right?
Oh my gosh.
And I'm guttural crying because I'm like, how could I finally be blessed with this baby and I'm not going to get to meet her? This is
Wow.
a nightmare.
Somebody got to cue me or do I cue myself?
Cue yourself.
Okay. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Off Camera. So let's get talking, everybody. Wow. Just the breadth and depth that this podcast takes. That's all I'm going to say. Very excited. Maria Menounos is joining us today. New mother, just had a baby. I mean, very exciting. It was quite an odyssey for her and Kev, I know. We're going to get into it. But before we cover Maria Menounos, let me check in with my trusty companions, Jan Chalet, Albert Bianchini, Seth Gronquist.
Hi.
Hello there.
Oh, wow.
He speaks.
A lot of people wanted to know what the elusive Seth sounded like. And now we know. Hi, elusive Seth.
Hi.
Wait, I have a question for you.
Yes, yeah.
Your friends who were having the baby via surrogate, because
I know I'm
obviously
not.
Maria had
Yeah.
her baby that way. How are they doing? What's happening?
August 31st.
Oh,
Babies due.
that's so
Baby soon.
exciting.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Very exciting.
Lola Consuelos just walked in the door. And if you haven't downloaded, uploaded, or streamed her new song, Divine Timing by Lola Consuelos, on Spotify,
And please
Apple
tell
Music.
your daughters to listen to it instead, please. I love you all. Mwah, mwah.
Can I send that elevator to the basement and lock her down?
Yes, please. Please.
Well, good luck to your friends. That's so
Thank you.
exciting.
No,
Very
it's
exciting.
Very exciting for them.
Do they know what they're having?
No.
They like to be surprised. Well, I know how to tell.
How?
So when the surrogate is having, I wish I was there for the sonogram. When the surrogate is having a sonogram, when they say, and if you're pregnant and you don't want to know, maybe tune out of this part.
That's interesting.
When they say, do you want to know? That's because they've seen a penis.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, they did ask me that each time, and I have two penises in my
A sonogram,
family,
a
so-
sonogram technician told me that. It's when they see the penis, they say, do you want to know? When they're not sure, or if they don't see a penis, they say, are you finding out the gender? Is more like, but usually as soon as they see the penis, they're like, do you want to know? Like they'll stop and they're like, do you want to know? Because we can all agree, you can't tell a penis from an elbow, from an earlobe, from a forehead in a sonogram. To me,
Absolutely
I was
not.
like, I don't know. They're like, do you know what this is? I'm like, a foot? They're like, that's a spleen. And I'm like, okay, I was close. So should we log on?
Yes.
We're on.
Hey, Maria.
Yeah.
So much to talk about. You know, she is not just a broadcast journalist, entertainment reporter, not just a best-selling author, not just a host, not just an actor, not just a fellow podcaster, but she is a brand new mother to a baby daughter named Athena. Please welcome Maria Menounos.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, saying that you're a mom is my new favorite title for you.
Oh, it's mine too, actually. All day I'm like, I'm your mom. I'm your mom.
Yes. Yes. Tell us about her.
Our house is exploding with love. And it's a feeling that is hard to describe other than, like I've said, I feel grounded. I feel like I know where I belong finally. I feel like I love my house now. I've never loved my house. I don't want to leave. I'm just so happy. It's such a great feeling. And I just, funny enough, hung up with an astrologer. It was a gift somebody gave me for Athena to do her chart.
And
So I think I spoke about it on the show when I filled in for you recently. I said, you know, her name Athena, she's the goddess of war and wisdom and spirituality and inspiration. And Alexandra is the defender of humankind. And she was born in Call. Do you know what that is?
yes, I do. All three of our kids were born that way. Is that crazy?
That's crazy. So are they intuitive?
Very intuitive. Yeah.
They say that they're special and that they have a vision that we don't have and an intuition. So I already kind of have a feeling of who she's going to be in the world. And her chart just confirmed everything I thought, which is crazy. Have you ever had your kids' charts done?
Oh, yeah. So we had our initial pediatrician, Dr. Mark Nesselson, who is an incredible guy. It was a homeopath, but he would have my kids' charts done when they were born. And they are pretty much exactly on target with everything that I was told about them. Even there were times when they were younger, like you'll see Athena will turn into many different people before she becomes who she is. And there were times they would veer so far away from what the course of the chart was that I was like, this stuff isn't real.
Yeah.
This stuff isn't real. But now that they've landed as adults, they are exactly as predicted.
Wow. I'm just in shock that 3 of them were born in call because it's so rare. It's one in
It's so
80,000 kids.
Yeah.
When Athena came out, she was still in the sack. They had a piece
Yeah.
off of her, which is so wild to see. Like she was still in the whole sack.
Yeah, it's crazy. Were you able to videotape the whole birth? Did they allow camera? Like, were you allowed to have your cell phone or whatever?
I did. What I set up was on, those hospital tray tables.
Mm-hmm.
I set up my iPad and I put it at an angle where it wouldn't be obnoxious and, not respectful. So we would see her come out from the side of her leg. And so I see her come out, and then her husband took pictures and video from above.
Yeah.
So I have, both angles actually, which is so cool.
Cinemascope.
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
Cinemascope. It's amazing. So tell me how you're both adjusting to being parents.
So we feel that we were really prepared, and I didn't know this was going to officially be the case, but we've had dogs for 20 plus years, and we've had 5 at a time usually, and all of them had different ailments. One was handicapped. We had all this medicine regime with the other ones, and we looked at them like they were our babies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like the skill set that we formed as parents to the canine babies was great because we know our roles. I'm the diagnoser. He's the administrator. I'm the one who feels something's wrong. He's the one who says no and then later finds out I was right. So it's been great.
So now, do you have a baby nurse with Athena?
I do. Thank God. I mean, I always envisioned having my mom with me. And
Of course.
when that wasn't a reality, I was like, oh gosh. And then all the health things that happened, I looked at Kevin and I said, I think we really need to do this. There's no question. I need to be my healthiest. I need to be my strongest. And sleep is going to be the answer for all of that. So
I'm thinking about your mom. Like, do you find that your mom comes to you in ways like, will you look at Athena and will you get a visit from your mom?
I've seen my mom in Athena so many times. So
Wow.
when you see her and her picture as a baby, she's Kevin's carbon copy, literally Kevin's carbon copy. But there were so many moments, and especially in the beginning, I would look at her and I would just see my mom, and it would freak me out because it was my mom. And my housekeeper, Violetta, without me saying it, said it too. She's like, I've seen your mom a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, me too. So I've seen her, and then we have her picture in the kitchen, and every morning I always touch my mom's heart and tell her I love her. And oh shoot. And so and then I always bring Athena to her and I say, Yaya loves you so much, even though she's not here with us right now. She is here with us. And then I hear my mom say, oh my gosh, I love her so much. Like I hear her voice. So I hear her all the time, and she's in her room. So at night we'll say our prayers and, we'll say goodnight to my mom and stuff. So sorry.
No, I can only imagine, like, it's such a bittersweet. You went through so much, Maria. Gosh, you had a brain tumor diagnosis when? How long ago was that?
So my mom was diagnosed in 2016, and then mine was a couple months later, early in 2017.
So scary. And are you both thinking, like, are you staring at each other thinking, WTF?
No. And I'll tell you why. So when I got diagnosed, I had just brought my mom to Mexico for some alternative treatments. And my doctor called me down there. I just finished unpacking them, putting everything away, setting them up for success. They were going to be there for 2 weeks. And my doctor called me. And it was like the last thing I could tell my parents in that moment because my mom's tumor was growing. So we were in a really bad moment. And so I left them and I looked at Kevin. I'm like, we can't tell them. So we didn't tell my parents for almost 2 months. It was 2 nights before surgery. I was having a birthday party / kind of, I needed some love going into massive brain surgery.
Right.
And so we told my parents kind of like in a quick moment right before they went to bed. So they didn't have time to think about it.
Wait, so they're like, good night,
They're
good
in
night,
bed.
love you, love you. By the way, I won't be here in the morning. I'm just having some emergency brain surgery.
It was close enough. I said, Kevin, I think we have to ambush them. So we ambushed them. They were in bed. We knocked on the door and we said, hey, we have to talk to you about something. They thought we were going to say we were pregnant. I said, listen, we're going to have a party tomorrow and everyone's going to be here. And I just don't want someone to slip and say something to you guys, but we've been keeping something from you. And I said, so mom, and my mom wasn't okay at that point. She had some treatments and her brain was inflamed. And so she wasn't herself. And I said, Mom, the kind of brain tumor you have is cancerous. Well, we just found out that I have a brain tumor as well, but mine is the non-cancerous. So it's super easy. We're just going to go see Dr. Black again, just like he did yours. He's going to cut my head open. We're going to do it. And it'll be fine. Everything's going to be great on my birthday in 2 days.
Right.
And so they were just like, what the hell? And I was like, okay, good night. Bye. Love you. And the door slams and they went to bed. And then the next morning they were kind of just,
Did they wake up and say, we had the most horrible dream last night?
Well, the next day now we had activity because people were going to come over. And so we were stimulated. And then the next morning we were in brain surgery. So it all worked. But my mom, even through brain surgery, when she was sitting by my bed, she didn't know what was happening. So it was a really
kind of like a miracle, though, don't you think?
It was a miracle. She didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is that when the doctor sort of discouraged you from trying to have children, sort of saying it's not a great idea?
Yeah. So after brain surgery, because they had to leave some of the tumor there so they wouldn't paralyze me, the doctor was like, this is not a good idea for you. You should not get pregnant. So that's when we switched over to Operation Surrogacy.
Yeah. So tell me about that, because I have to say, having had so many friends that have had their babies through surrogates for myriad reasons. I mean, some are health reasons, some are same-sex couples, some are single moms, have relied on surrogates. And don't you agree that these women have a special place somewhere in the world? Like, they are saints walking among us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Our surrogate was incredible.
Yeah. How did you find her? How did you find your surrogate?
So first, Kim Kardashian had helped me kind of assemble a team. And then a part of the team wasn't really working. So then Zoe Saldana was like, oh, go to this agency. So I went to this agency. They matched us with a surrogate. We signed the paperwork and funded the account, Kelly. And then COVID hit 2 days later.
Ugh.
And so now you're seeing COVID babies and you're seeing the world shut down and you're seeing all this stuff. And we're like, okay, this has to be on hold. And so we held until later that summer when things seemed a little bit more stable, a smidge. And we started up again. And what happened in that situation is her uterine lining wouldn't grow to the final stage.
Right.
So that's what holds that embryo and keeps it, safe. So we had to break up with that surrogate, which was super sad because she was so lovely and she really, really wanted to do this for us. And it had been a long time of hanging in and it not working. And so the lawyer, who was also Kim's lawyer, called me and said, listen, you guys don't have a lot of time. I understand this. I have somebody that can help you find someone fast, kind of like a concierge agency lady.
Wow.
Her name was Stephanie Levitch. And I said, I think I'm done. I think I'm just over this. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. Maybe this isn't meant to be. Maybe this isn't for us. And he goes, just trust me. Have a phone call with her. And so I called her up and she was just so moved by our story at that point. She was like, I really want to help you guys. I think I have the perfect surrogate for you already. And by the next day, basically, we were on the phone with this family. We loved them. And we're like, let's go. And so we did. And we had such a wonderful experience with them. They came to LA for the implantation. We spent the week with them, got to know them. And it was something that she had dreamed of doing even before she was married. And her husband was like confused by the whole thing. He was like, what is this? I don't get it.
Right.
And
But she had her own children. Had she had her own children?
she had two
Yeah.
of her own. And so we went on the journey and it was so special. I would send voice recordings so she could play for the belly. And she's like, oh, she's kicking.
Oh my gosh.
It was really cool. And then finally she came and it was just such a beautiful birth experience. My friend Lori Bregman is a doula and she taught me all the things to kind of empower me in that delivery room so that I could make choices. And so, yeah, I didn't want her water to break. And so we didn't. And we got to have that really beautiful birth. And she pushed her out maybe like 12 pushes. It was so fast and so
It's
easy.
amazing, isn't it? Yeah. When
And
it goes right, it goes so right.
yeah. And I go, you make pregnancy and birth like you do it better than I do regular life. Like it's so easy. And so she was meant to do this. She was born to do this. She is an angel walking this earth. And the best was like 2 days later when we were in LA, I was talking with her husband on FaceTime and I said, I never got to really ask you what your experience was like. And he said, honestly, we really loved getting to know you guys. But the moment you two became parents, I'll never forget looking at you guys and how happy you were. He goes, that was worth everything for us to see you guys become a family. And then he said, hearing you call your friends and say, I'm so grateful to have good news to call from a hospital for once.
Oh,
That just hit me so hard. So it was really nice to see his journey through this too.
Yeah, because you focus so much on the surrogates, but there's a whole family involved.
Yeah.
And so now what will you maintain a relationship with your surrogate? Will you send pictures of Athena, or is it like sort of like separation and that's it?
No, first of all, we never left the delivery room with them. We had a room next door, but I wanted to be with them. I wanted them to feel the reward of what they just did. So we were all together. We hung out. The kids came. They got to meet her and spend time with her. And they've already been out here to visit. They were here to visit maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks later.
Wow.
And they're family to us forever. We're eternally grateful to them. And yeah, at first, like when you do this process, they're like, will you agree to send pictures? And we're like, yeah, of course. I mean, I send pictures like on the regular to them. They're such a big part of our lives now. And I see the kids being able to grow up together in a sense. Like I said, you guys are welcome to come to Connecticut in the summers and be with us there. And so,
and
yeah.
I think it's really unique. So many times it's sort of like once the baby's born, it's sort of everybody goes in their separate direction and then that's kind of it. But to have like a relationship like that sounds extraordinary. What advice do you have for people who have tried IVF for many, many years and maybe it hasn't worked and they're considering surrogacy? Like, is there anything you learned along the way that you can tell people, the ups and downs of it?
I think overall, there's a bigger lesson in not letting your fear rule your decisions and surrendering and having faith and patience. Because for a long time, even knowing I wanted to have kids, I was always also scared. How is this going to change my life? Is this going to be a good thing for us? And then just the journey through surrogacy, like one of the things that Kim taught me was to just kind of release that type A control freak nature and just to trust and just knowing that everything's going to happen in the order it's supposed to happen and that, but not giving up so easily either. She's the greatest gift I've ever gotten in my life. And if I had given up, oh my gosh, I would have missed out on this love and this joy. So I would say, don't give up. And if you're going to go through surrogacy, find the people that you want to do this with and make sure your values match up. And then that's it. Let them go. They want to do a good job. They don't want a bad outcome.
But, while you're going through all of this, in the middle of this, you get another diagnosis, the highest high and then this lowest low. Explain to me what happened. while you're going through all of this, in the middle of this, you get another diagnosis. I remember I would read Us Weekly, because I get Us Weekly when I'm in the nail salon. That's where I check in with all of my celebrities. And on one page, I'm crying tears of joy for Maria Menounos. And on the next page, I'm crying for Maria Menounos. And I'm like, wait a minute. Are these two separate issues? Explain to me the yin and the yang of your health journey.
So if the brain tumor wasn't enough in 2017, last summer, which was 2022, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So I'm in Connecticut. I just got home from a Celtics game, got these horrible leg cramps, woke up in the morning. I'm like, I got to go to the hospital. Something's not right. And they're like, you have type 1. I'm like, no, I don't. No,
yeah, isn't that something you're born with, or you get early, right? Or is how I understand it.
Yeah, usually you get it earlier. I always fell into a little pre-diabetic, here or there, because my dad is diabetic. And so I quit sugar 2 years prior to this so that I would never have anybody tell me that I have this. And so I was like, this doesn't make sense. And funny, I look back now and I'm like, yeah, it didn't really make sense. We should have done a scan of my pancreas then. So I started a healing journey with a naturopath back then. And I started having pains in the fall, really severe abdominal pain, and coupled with diarrhea that persisted for a month and a half. And I did all the stool tests. Nothing came back. And so when I would tell my doctor, he was like, well, we just scanned you. There's nothing there. So,
but you know your body. You know your body.
Yeah. And, these doctors, they kind of just quit after they do a few tests. And you're like, well, wait, we still don't really know what's going on. But I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep searching. And then I was approached by a woman, Anastasia, the eyebrow guru. She's a good friend of mine.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
So she had a party, and this woman came up to me and she's like, I have this, MRI company called Pronuvo. You have to come get a scan. But she was aggressive with me. I was like, okay. So I scheduled it. I went in January of this year, and they found a large tumor on my pancreas. And I'm sitting in the room. I know we're pregnant. The radiologist is starting to get pale and shaky and emotional. And I said, so I'm a goner, right? Because I just know what tumor and pancreas means. And I'm like, wow, right. I'm not even going to get to meet my daughter. Flashes are coming through my head. He's like, you need to go to the hospital right now. And I was like, oh my God. So I texted my doctor. We raced right over to UCLA, and I said, we need to get an MRI. We did it. They confirmed it. That was a Friday night. Saturday morning, I woke up, and Kevin and I were in the fetal position in bed, just looking at my icons of, Jesus and the Virgin Mary and everybody I pray to at night. And I'm guttural crying because I'm like, how could I finally be blessed with this baby and I'm not going to get to meet her? This is a nightmare.
Right. Yeah.
And through my primary care, who pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed to move things fast, we got into a biopsy right away, and they confirmed that there was a stage 1 neuroendocrine tumor. And we looked back, and in November, it was there. It was 2 centimeters. They missed it. Now it had doubled in size by January. So November to January, 2 months. What would have happened by the end of June when she was born? And so then they went in February. They removed the tail of my pancreas, my spleen, 17 lymph nodes, and a fibroid the size of a baby on my uterus.
No.
All in one surgery. There were 3 surgeons, and it was pretty intense. I think it was an 8-hour surgery, that one.
But thank God you stayed. I know myself. If I got the first scan and they told me everything was fine, I'd be like, everything's fine. I would have for myself taken that and just sort of chalked it up to, maybe I should just take up eating a sugar again. Maybe my stomach pains is because I've deprived myself of, I would have rationalized them being right and me being wrong. I don't know that I would have pursued it.
Well, think about this. So first of all, I always say if the pain persists, you have to keep fighting. You have to keep looking, and you can't just listen to anybody because people can be wrong. They're humans and they're all
Right.
busy too. But I was trying and I still couldn't figure it out. I was gifted from the other side. My mom,
Right.
God, they put that woman in my path at Anastasia's birthday. I wasn't even supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And so I was going to stay home in Connecticut for the holidays with my dad. And instead I was like, I gotta go back for her birthday. I don't want to miss it. That was total intervention. And so I listen to the messages and the messengers that people that are in my path. So I'll have somebody, my mom, the reason why my mom did so well, a big part of it was I listened to all the signs. So there would be somebody on my couch over there talking to me on the show, and they would say something, and I'm like, oh my God, that was for my mom. Oh, okay, got it. So again, it's removing the fear and just kind of saying, okay, well, let's just explore this. Let's just see what this is. I was scared to do it because I kind of knew something wasn't going to be great. I was feeling things. So, and I know that there's something, it's just, I couldn't get to the bottom of it.
How do you check in with your body now? Because I know me, every time I would feel an ache or pain after this, I would immediately assume that it's returned. Are you there psychologically?
It happens. It just happened even this past week. My dad made some eggplants, and afterwards I had some real stomach pain. And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. And then I'm like, faith. And so you have to, there's so many moments where you're scared. And for me now, I'm more scared because I have a baby. So I have to lean on my faith and know that if I was supposed to go, I would have gone. I have a purpose. I'm supposed to be here. I'm going to be here. I'm fine. And so sometimes I have to look at Kevin and be like, am I going to be okay? And he's like, yes, you're fine. Stop worrying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm fine. Okay. So I'm not going to lie. I do have moments where I get scared. But I'm really I'm doing everything I can. I'm eating so clean. I'm working out. I'm happy. I'm meditating. I'm getting back into my meditation. I'm doing all the things. And so it's not really.
Are you wearing your matis?
My matis, I wear it sometimes.
No, you got to wear it all the time, Maria. You should know this. You're Greek. I can't believe I have to tell you this.
Wait, oh no, I have it now on my bracelet. I do have, I have two matis on my bracelets.
Okay, good girl.
Yeah.
Good girl. That's very important. I know that people think I'm nuts, but like when something goes awry, the first thing I do is send them a mati, and I'm like, never take this off.
So do you know about Saint Nectarios? He is the healing saint, and he heals all, not just the Greek Orthodox. Anyone who believes in him can be healed. And so when my mom was diagnosed, we started praying to him, going to his church. And on the most recent trip to Greece, we went to the island of Aegina where he had his church.
Wow.
And so I got bracelets. So I'm wearing one, and then you dip it in oil from his tomb outside. And, it's for healing. So I brought back some and I gave them to some friends who were all dealing with cancer. My one friend called me, and he had leukemia. And he said, Maria, I'm just now tracing back to the moment you gave me that bracelet. Right after that, my white blood cell count went from nothing to abundant, and I'm now able to go to Greece because of it. He wasn't able to travel or do anything because he didn't have any white blood cells. I really want to go to Aegina and say thank you. So he went. He said it was so beautiful. So I tell everybody they should know about Saint Nectarios. They should know his story. And if you ever go to Greece, go to the island. It's beautiful.
That's our next trip. That's where we're going to go.
It's right near Athens too.
So you told Mark that you talk to your body. Is it a form of meditation?
No. So at night I do my prayers, and after my prayers I go into thanking my body. I thank all the systems, reproductive, neurological, skin, muscular, endocrine system. I thank everything. I thank the organs. I thank my cells. And I thank my pancreas, and I send everything love. And then sometimes when I'm standing, I'll do it, or when I go to bed, I'll lay down and I'll tell my body, okay, it's time to go to sleep and time to do all the processes to heal through sleep. And brain, could you please send a message to my pancreas that I'd like to accelerate my healing. Brain, could you please send a message to my thyroid that I want it to continue healing even faster? Because your brain is in charge of everything. So why not tell it what to do?
See, you're amazing because I'd be like, thanks a lot, pancreas. You're the worst. Thanks for nothing. And then I would gently at night tell my pancreas to go F itself. I said, but that's why you're like a better, more evolved person than I am. Because I would have words with my pancreas, but they would be different words, less evolved words.
I'm dead. That's so funny. No, you have to be loving to your body. So I thank it for everything that it's been through, because it's crazy when I look at what I've gone through. I mean, sometimes I'm like, wow, like I bounce back fast. My body's been so good to me. And I know that the things I've gone through, it's funny. Like, I'm a healthy, vibrant person. This makes no sense.
Right.
And, I know that if I trace things back, obviously there's a lot of traumas, growing up. There were a lot of toxicities that I dealt with in the workplace, a lot of pain that no one will ever know. And it's an accumulation, right? Your health is an accumulation of your life and choices and situations and traumas. And so there was a Mack truck or a runaway train that I just couldn't stop. And so these things, I think, were all in there percolating, and I have a really good system. I had my NK cells tested, and the woman was like, the researcher, she goes, you have an insane natural killer cell function. So I feel really confident that my body, I don't get sick or anything like that. So it seems on the outside like I'm, maybe weak, fragile, sick, whatever, but I'm not. I'm very healthy and vibrant. I've just had these random things happen that I've had to go through, I think, to bring me to my mission to help other people with their health. The statistics are insane for people being diagnosed with diabetes after getting COVID. And then
That's so interesting.
The vascular diseases in the heart, all the things that we've been seeing people suffer from. So I think that we've never really been sicker. And you'll see right now, if you want to get an ultrasound in California, in LA, it's 3 months. And I asked the technician, I said, why is it so long? She's like, we have so much staff. We have weekends. We have nights. People just are really sick and they need it more than ever.
Right.
I think that, all these things just kind of set me up for what I've dealt with.
And
so 2 things. I'm going to tell you about a meditation that will change everything. So first, Yoga Nidra, if you YouTube it, the first one that pops up is the one I would use, and it was really great. So you can lay down for 20 minutes, and she takes your awareness to different parts of your body. So you never have time to think. So she's like, place your awareness on your thumb, your index finger, your middle finger. And she goes through all this. So you're just going through your body. And by the time you're done, you feel like you got a 3-hour nap. It's amazing. It's very restorative.
Also, shout out to your British accent.
Yeah,
That was
let's-
amazing.
I always say we need a good accent.
That would make fun of my British accent. Thank you. I'm going to tell you what changed my whole life.
Okay.
My friend Marie Forleo came home from a meditation event, and she said, Maria, you've got to try this. I go, a meditation event? I'd rather poke my eyeballs out. And I'm self-help queen. Like, there's no way. She goes, Maria, I felt like a snake coming out of my skin. And I said, I have to try this. So it's Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's been on my show many times. And what he does is so different than meditation. It really shouldn't even be called meditation, but he's changing the way your brain works. He's helping you change your personality to change your reality. He's helping you catch those negative thoughts, helping you focus on what you want rather than what you don't want, reprogramming your brain for the life that you want, because we are addicted to the life that we don't want. So I started his course online. It's called The Formula. And within 3 days, my very, very challenging anxiety disappeared and it has not come back.
No kidding.
I had medicine. I called my doctor. I said, I can't white knuckle this anymore.
Wow.
In 3 days, It was gone.
I'm writing all this. I'm not ignoring you. I'm
No,
just
I
writing
know.
all this down.
It's so incredible.
How did you change aspects of your personality to change your reality?
New patterns, new behaviors, new choices. So if I would go left, I went right. I would change the order I did things in. You know, we wake up, we do the same things exactly in the same order. So instead of brushing my teeth, I'd go downstairs and take my vitamins. Instead of taking my vitamins at that moment, I would go out and get the sun. I would just say yes to things I would say no to. And I knew that every time I made a different decision, I was leading myself to a different path and a new reality. You know, they say like the definition of insanity is doing the same things and expecting different results, right? So I always say, you know, sometimes everything we're running from is what we should be running to. We just don't know it yet.
So, in closing, what are the top things people can do to change the course of their own health, would you say?
Okay. Well, one, I think you need an accountability partner. A lot of people don't have healthy role models in their lives. And so I say this not to plug my show, but we do this daily here. So, and we have the best experts on every single day. This show saved my life and has saved so many other people. So if you don't have a squad, we're your squad. And we have people every day that are going to give you tools that will help you in your journey. You have to understand the foundation of what the medical world can do, not assume they can do everything. So we've had doctors on here, triple board certified, who are like, we went to medical school thinking we were going to heal people. And we woke up and realized we're pharmacists. And that's why, in their words, that's why the suicide rate is so massive in doctors and number one, in fact. So you have to understand that they're great at generally diagnosing, surgeries generally, and prescribing. In terms of healing you, anytime I've asked a doctor, hey, so how do we bring about the healing here? Here are all these different ailments. They don't even know how to connect the dots because everything now is a specialty and they're shipping you off over here and they're shipping you off over there. And there's nothing that's cohesive. So you need a naturopath on your team that's going to get to the root of everything. Their job is to heal you. And so you need to understand that you're like the New England Patriots, you know, and you're Bill Belichick, you're the coach. You're not going to put Tom Brady in defense. You're not going to put defense on offense. You have to know where you're using your players. So my number one thing is really understand the landscape and understand that these doctors aren't God. They're amazing. We love them. We can't live without them, but we need to know what they're good at. And we need to actually ask them when they're going to operate on our brain, how many of these surgeries have you performed? And when you do feel pain and you got a radiology report and it says there's nothing there, let's get a second opinion. I now know that. You're hiring them. Stop thinking that it's the other way around, that we should just be so lucky. Find the best of the best to cut you open. And the best of the best to take you down a different, a path of healing, and know that they have 15 minutes with you. That's why you want the naturopath that's going to give you 2 hours. And then the biggest things for health is you are what you eat. I mean, let's go back to Hippocrates. Let food be thy medicine. And then sunlight is actually medicinal, friends. It's not your enemy.
Sunlight is so good for you.
It really is. So
and people will go crazy. They're like, but skin cancer. Yes, you can put on sunscreen, you can wear sun protective clothing, but actual sunlight is so medicinal.
My vitamin D levels are off the charts now. The common denominator across cancers is low vitamin D. You need sunlight, and you need your retinas have UV receptors, and your skin is your solar panel for your body. There's so much research behind this that I've been studying. And so, those are really the kind of headlines, but we go deep on all of this every single day here.
Well, we really appreciate you taking the time and educating us. I say, like, Maria's podcast, Heal Squad, is the opposite of our podcast. We literally give you no tools And this is I think our first health episode.
I love it.
Yeah.
Unless you count
We did
therapy.
the marriage
we
health,
did
yeah.
we did couples therapy on our show, but that's about it. That's as deep as we get into the health. This has been like joyful. Make sure everybody you check out Maria's podcast, Heal Squad. Congratulations on baby Athena. Give our love to Kev and Papu.
Thanks.
And I'll see you. Hopefully I'll get to see you in the studio together soon.
I would
you
love
know, as opposed to you filling in for me and me playing hooky.
Yeah, when Mark wants to go to Greece and leave you behind, I'll come fill in for him.
It'll be girls trip.
Yeah.
Girls trip, the two of us. Okay.
Fun.
Thanks,
Love you.
Maria.
Thank you
Love you.
so
Okay.
much.
All the best. Happy to see you. Mwah.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Have a nice day. That was so awesome.
That was so fun. You know what? God has been good to me and has not given me a lot of health problems because he knows I'm like somebody that will completely ignore it if it's there. I'm always like, is this a lump? And Mark's like, I'm not sure. And then I forget about it. Like that is me in a nutshell. Like I forget about it.
Well, it's time for Ask Kelly. So
Kyle's in the waiting room.
Oh, okay. Wait. I'm ready.
All right, then it's time for Ask Kelly.
You know what I liked about that one? The Ask and the Kelly were two separate Ks. Ask Kelly.
Yeah, they were.
That was incredible.
All right, Jan.
All right, Kyle, stick around. Okay, Ask Kelly. From Kaloha Borg, if you weren't an actress or a host, what would your ideal job have been?
Ooh, that's a great
I know what it
question.
is, but let's hear what yours
You
is.
think you know what it is? Oh, I mean, I've got so many career paths that I would have much rather have taken. Gosh, I like to say I'd be a fitness trainer, but I wouldn't be. I like to say I'd be a ballet dancer, but I wasn't good enough. I like to say that I'd be a travel agent, but just because I like to travel, I would be an amazing dermatologist because I would be like Dr. Pimple Popper. I love extracting things. What do you think I would be?
You would be the sickest party motivator at a bar mitzvah.
Oh, yes. No, that is
At
true.
a bar mitzvah?
I would be a bar mitzvah party motivator, 100%.
A DJ.
Like a
Yes,
wedding
yes.
DJ.
Wedding DJ.
Yes.
Yes, I would be
get
a
the party
local.
going.
I would be a locally sourced bar mitzvah party motivator. Yes, that would be my job.
Okay. From Linda, how do you pronounce this?
Kind up.
Kind up. It would be so fun to see you and your family on reality TV. Have you ever considered it? Would you ever?
No, Linda, no. And I'll tell you why. Here's the thing. We are really normal. And I am no way implying that reality TV stars aren't normal, but they lean into the drama and discomfort. And if you put cameras on us in reality, as Seth can attest to, anytime we've tried to shoot something at home, we all sort of shut down. It's like wilting flowers. We're not nearly as entertaining as you might think. It would be like watching paint dry on a wall.
Shameless plug for Linda Kind Up. If you want to hear reality TV, tune into the podcast with Kelly's children on it. Because that is a slice of reality TV that will be coming up. Reality podcasting.
Is it though? They are just off the walls with it. I mean, like the questions they ask me, I'm like, ask me something you would normally ask me. Don't ask me
love
this
it.
crap. They were asking me bonkers questions.
The closest you'll get, Linda.
It's closest you'll get. Okay. All right, that's it.
That's it?
Yep.
All right. Thank you, listeners. Thanks so much. Can't wait to talk off camera. Oh, wait. Does Kyle sing an outro?
Come on, Kyle.
Okay. Do you want to say bye? Can't wait to talk off camera next week?
Bye, and I can't wait to talk off camera next week.
See you next week, everybody. Thanks, Kyle. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. Let's Talk Off Camera with Kelly Ripa is a co-production of Melojo Productions and PRX Productions with help from Goat Rodeo. Our theme song is Follow Me from APM Music. From Melojo, our team is Kelly Ripa, Mark Consuelos, Albert Bianchini, Jan Chalet, Devin Schneider, Michael Halpern, Jacob Small, Roz Therian, Seth Gronquist, and Julia Desch. From PRX Productions, our team is Kara Schillen, Genevieve Sponsler, Megan Nadolski, Edwin Ochoa. Additional sound design by Terrence Bernardo. The executive producer of PRX Productions is Jocelyn Gonzalez. This show is powered by Stitcher.